Yo, yo, welcome back to the Power Rankings podcast. Kelly, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Ryan?
Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. This first week is always a fun one for me, because regardless of how good I think I am at accurately assessing teams, seeing everybody in action always changes a ton. So there's always generally a ton of motion in my rankings after this first week. So real excited to get into this one.
Yeah, and what were some of your biggest shifts from last week to this week after you saw teams? What were your misses?
Yeah, so we'll talk to this when we get into them. Black, I think I realized was a miss as I was talking about them during last week's rankings. But at that point, I just felt committed. And I'll talk about yellow some as well. But yeah, yellow obviously looked very impressive week one.
All right, and this week's episode is brought to you by real people who have been writing summaries since 2004. Take that, AI.
Jimmy.
All right. So we're gonna start a wall eat tally.
Yeah, oh my goodness. There were, I don't know how many, I mean, you probably do if you have the tally, just really dangerous looking collisions with the wall last week. Liaz in our game had one that was real bad. Cam and Normal crashed into a wall. We'll talk about that when we get into them. Steven had a pretty bad looking hit. Is there one I'm
I
missing?
think Gavin did, but I
Gavin.
always
Yeah.
think Gavin has hit a wall.
I don't know what the result of that is. I'm not sure if it's just a coincidence. I don't know if this field being a lot bigger than we realized is causing people to have a lot more momentum behind them than they're used to having when they hit the wall. I don't know. I'll look into it.
And I really think the fields are a little bit bigger, but close enough to the same size, and it's just the white wall.
Please chime in. The field's got to be. People, please chime in. Back me up here.
While you're chiming in, we're also going to do a wall eat tally. So the current tally is 4. We might have missed someone. Place your bets each week. We'll do the over under. What do you think this upcoming week's wall eat tally is going to be?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that that wasn't a just a week one coincidence. I'll set an over under on like 2.5.
All right, 2.5. I'll take the over on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what were the actual standings this week, according to Eric's stat sheet?
Oh yeah, the real standings that I guess matter a lot more than just what I think. Yeah, so white and yellow both went 2-0. White's got them beat in point diff. Green and red both went 1-1, and then black and blue were 0-2. I think yeah, you're pulling it up here.
Okay, cool. So now let's get into your actual
Yeah,
power
get
rankings,
to the good
the
stuff.
juicy stuff that actually matters and is more representative according to no one.
Yeah, yeah. So in first place, I still have white. I thought they were the best looking team on paper, and absolutely nothing that happened last week surprised me. And in fact, I actually think that I am more confident in this than I was last week.
Mm.
So the couple of things that I first want to mention, Marshall has long just flown under the radar as Jimmy's brother who just gets badged with him, and we make sure we put them together. It's not a big deal, right? It's just Jimmy's brother. Like he's not like, no, this dude has gotten very, very good. He had two really, really great like pose D diving save the point catches. One of them for a score after Cam, which I'll talk more about the highlight from his perspective, but had a great layout D on him in the end zone. Fully fallen down, just like a little push to catch it to save the score. His hands are really good. He makes good decisions. I think Marshall is definitely someone that's been overrated or underrated. I gotta talk about Caleb, of course. If there is, so I've talked a lot about how much I like this kid. Really talented, really athletic. He's fast. I saw him burning a lot of people. The one potential concern with a Caleb team, and I've coming from what I've talked to other people with. Caleb has spent a lot of time playing in like a church group where he was far and away the best player there, and he frequently plays like he is the best player. There was no amount of like clogging or overly aggressive cutting that we saw from him. We didn't see any of the somewhat questionable hammers that I think he became known for when he was on your team.
True.
I don't know if you have any input on that, but I was impressed with the amount within himself I saw him play.
Yeah, it was really exciting to get to see him probably hit top speed. Maybe the fields are bigger. It was also impressive to see him look to the end zone for a while and then decide on a different throw or like test out shape on a throw that maybe 2 leagues ago he wouldn't have had.
Yeah. And then we've got to talk about Jillian. Um,
Oh yeah.
Talked about how excited we were for her last week. She played out of her mind. There were multiple catches that I think probably the thrower thought that they missed before she saved. She had one in particular against us, where it was a deep shot. She had position on you, but it was floating. You were there. I have seen you come from out of position to D floaty passes over people you were shorter than, all the or taller than, sorry, all the time. I When that went up, I assumed you were getting that. This is not a knock on you. I was shocked that she came down with that. She really balled out.
Yeah, she has good hands. There was one where somebody threw it while she was looking away and also behind, and she turned around, grabbed it, and then threw it into the end zone for the score. So yeah, I think she's formidable. I'm really excited to see what she brings to White.
Yeah. As far as lowlights, the only thing Jimmy told me was that he was terrible because, of course, that's what Jimmy would say. um,
No, I remember seeing, and we'll talk about this more, but especially in our game, I remember seeing Jimmy get a little bit toasted, not for lack of effort, because sometimes matchups are hard.
He also did say that he at one point had to scream at Jackson to hold the force. So Jackson, hold a damn force, man.
Hold the force, man. Oh, and we did miss a highlight. Apparently, Ed was cooking. Ed
Yeah.
is newer, right?
Yeah. He wasn't somebody that I had recognized. Jimmy said it was his second league, but said he was really popping off.
Okay, let's
So
go,
shout
Ed.
out Ed.
Okay, so the next ranking you have for a team is
Yeah.
green, right?
Yep, I go into green next.
Okay, so clearly they're not 2-0. Why?
Yeah, I mean their one loss was to White, who I think is very, very good. Green was also missing, if I remember correctly, Battles, Sunil, Gifford, and give me 1 second while I pull up. I believe.
Okay, yeah, so obviously missing battles is going to be like a pretty big thing. I think even our volleyball league team is really missing battles right now.
Truly.
What do you think that he is going to bring to their team? Just handle movement or
Yeah, so the thing that I said about Green last week was that they are really, really athletic, and I think the one weakness they're going to have is they don't have any like kind of adult on the field person you can just trust to like throw a bunch of stuff and not turn it over. Um, and they didn't even really prove that they could do that. Oh, Cam Lewis. Thank you, is the last one that I was missing. I don't really think that they proved last week that they could do that. Like when they like slowly worked it up the field was when they looked vulnerable. They were just killing teams off of just deep shots, right? Jeff and Sam and Sarah just like throwing stuff to each other. Battles is going to allow them to play slower when they need to, right? Or when teams kind of sell out to stop the deep ball, to stop that.
true?
Yeah.
Okay, and last week you said that you would be really interested in seeing Cameron White be that kind of like handle that you've always wanted to see.
Yeah,
Did we see that?
Cam got mad at me. The very first thing that I saw from Green was Cam pick up the disc and throw it right into Eric's chest. Eric is not on Green; he is on White. I mean, look, it's indoor, right? Like the wind isn't that bad. There's a lot more space than we expected. He looks solid. I will shout him out for, like I mentioned earlier, an insane layout D that he had against Marshall in the end zone. I'm talking like full horizontal, full throw.
Oh yeah, I started cheering for that before.
Yeah, Marshall caught it. It was a great, but it was still a great D.
Yeah, great save, great D.
Yeah, he made throws. He made fine throws, but I also saw some throwaways. Cam, I know you were mad that I called you out last week. Figure it out.
All right, okay. And then we also had a really impressive, like I was rewatching the footage because I missed this the first time, I don't know how. Somebody wound up for a huck, and then Jeff just jumped up from the middle of a group of people, like 15 feet away from it, and grabbed a huck out of the air.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff's going to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff is engaged and caring. He's really good.
Fair. Back to Cam's layouts, though. He did also try to end Normal's life, right?
I thought we were about to see, first of all, I thought we were about to have to call an ambulance, and then I thought we were about to see a fight. I have never in my life seen Normal yelling at somebody on the field.
I've never seen Normal unhappy.
Yeah. But that's Green. I think somebody mentioned that in the audience when I was just hanging out watching games, that Green is an aggressive kind of towing the line teams when it comes to physicality.
Yeah, and I think that could serve them and it could hurt them. We'll just have to see what walls do. So who is your next up ranked team?
Yeah, so next we move into yellow, and I am just unbelievably excited to talk about yellow. So 2-0 against two, admittedly, of the lower rated teams here. But I thought they did really good. If you pull back up
Hmm.
their team. So first off, as I was informed last week, let's talk about Riley and Andrea. Congratulations. Look, you guys have to either be better or worse, okay? Um, no, I can't believe I missed. Riley lost a fantasy football bet to me and has to throw one hammer a week when I tell him to. He's 1-0 so far. He completed the hammer that he threw.
That's true. I did see the hammer. You called hammer on like stall one of a throw he was already throwing, and he looked at you from the field like, "What the fuck, man?" And then you called it again, and he threw it again. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
Yeah. But really what I want to talk about here is Andrea. I thought her defense the first week was really impressive. You made a comment on one of the games we watched, where I think Sarah sprinted deep on her. And
Oh yeah,
Sarah is like known to be one of OKC's like better deep threat ladies. That's
yeah,
a hard matchup. And Andrea kept up with her. The disc
yeah.
didn't
That's
go
true.
down. She was there.
That's true.
That was impressive. If Andrea keeps playing defense like that, that's going to be huge for them.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Honorable mention to Andrea as well. When we listed all of the old people, we just didn't know Andrea was old. Shout out to Andrea for being old and gold and a lot older than we thought. What else do you have for yellow?
Yeah, a couple of things. Like I said, I was excited about this one. This guy Joel. So we didn't know him. I saw obviously who I assumed was Joel because I didn't know him and I knew everybody else. When we walked up, he had an ultimate jersey on. He looked very frisbee. But there is this sort of reputation in like pickup basketball circles. If somebody shows up wearing like a matching jersey and shorts and like super clean new shoes and like a hat, they're going to be garbage, right? Yeah, and you've seen this in Ultimate, right? It's when you go to like a college tournament, it's not the person with the full kit you got to worry about. It's the guy with the t-shirt that is like loosely the right color. That's the scary one. So I was not 100% sold until I saw him start playing. Joel looks great. If anyone is listening to this is on yellow, please have Joel talk to me. I need to figure out where he played before. His throws were great. I thought his mindset on the field was really, really good. This guy is a steal.
I love that. Can we also talk about Curtis this
Yeah,
week?
so I gave Curtis a hard time last week. I said he has really high highs and can have really bad lows. He can is good for turfing the disc a few times. Last week was one of the best Curtis weeks I've ever seen. Everything he did was great.
Everything he did was great. I have no notes.
So the reason that I don't have yellow higher than green, even though they had a better record, mostly is just that I am not 100% yet that this is repeatable. I think this team looked great. And I think everybody played basically at the top of their game.
Okay.
We watched both of these games, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Jerry doing any dumb Jerry things?
I mean, I think that if I did see them, I would just let them go. We'll have to, guys, report back to us and actually fill out the shout outs. But did Jerry do anything stupid? Let us know.
Yeah. From my memory, I thought the team took care of business against two teams they should beat. I definitely underrated them. I'll be real excited to see them in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So who do you have on your next up ranking, and also why?
Yeah, so Black is up next. I mentioned that when I had Black second last week, as I was talking about them, I thought like this is ambitious. Like there's a lot of good players on this team. Anyone who's talked to me knows that I am one of the biggest Coco fans in OKC. I think he is just in that same top tier of like ZJ level players. He's incredible. But they didn't have him this week.
Okay.
So obviously not having him is a big hurt. But for the most part, the rest of their team was there. I'm looking over.
Except Abby. So they were missing some core handles.
They replaced Abby with K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Replaced Abby with K. But that's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, I think the thing that I missed on this team is just that they don't have anybody who can go out there and really just make offense hard for the other team, right? Steven is very good in the deep space if you're throwing to him. But when I look at like the top people on this team, right? Like Jacob, EJ is going to be like a common guy. No one really is like getting offenses into this like stall 6, stall 7 situation where like bailout throws.
That's true. I'm looking at like Lom and Jacob and
Really good
EJ, really
Nathan,
good
really good
offensive players, and people that I would not want to guard or have to deal with. And I think that like their defense could go next level, like all of the components that are there, just not used to seeing it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have to shout out here, other Ryan? Getting a double hand block on our boy Will. Just straight up both hands knocking it down. Um, really demoralizing, really demoralizing play. I have to shout out Nathan, although I hate it, for knocking away what I thought was just a free deep shot that I had to you.
Yeah, I also thought it was free, and then there was like more than 6 feet of person in my way. It was pretty
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
Great work on using your height, Nathan.
Steven had a huge sky on
Jana.
So he must be feeling real big about himself.
Yeah, he also had a pretty good one on Joe, so still
Yeah.
taking a big advantage of that height difference.
But yeah, I think this team will be fine. Obviously, when they get Coco back, I think that gives them somebody who can take on those really tough matchups on the other team and
Okay.
limit them.
Well, let's hope that the snow doesn't kill our games this week, but let's hope Coco's there and shows us what he can do with this team.
Yeah.
All right, and then next up you had us.
Yeah, man, we had a rough start. A couple of reasons goes into that. I did say last week that I thought we're going to be a team that grows.
Yeah, I mean, we are rated exactly where you said we would be.
Yeah. I think that we took some time adjusting to what our captains were doing, kind of X's and O's wise, which I do want to point out I think is pretty cool. And also we had a couple of worse than normal individual performances. That we
Maybe
could
that's
say.
true.
Yeah, Par, I love you, and I will say Par absolutely locked it down in the second game. But man,
Oh yeah, he
I
got
think-
coach block. Let's not ignore that. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout you out for all the good stuff you did in the second game. Big part of why we won. This man must have had 5 drops that hit him right in the gut.
Okay. Ooh, why? Why do you think that is?
Yeah. So I think part of it is just that, you get excited, you start looking for the next throw before it's there. But I do appreciate you teeing me up for one of my favorite pet points. Clap catches are bad. Clap catches, if they're coming straight at you, are just so much worse than just double clamping it. People like are off a little bit, they flip it. I'm doing the motion right now, but no one can see me.
Yeah, but like we're
Stop teaching-
to do the clap
Stop
catch.
teaching new people to clap catch.
Okay.
Stop teaching new people to clap catch. Just reach forward, grab it with both hands.
Like hamster or alligator?
yep,
What do
yep.
you do when it's right in the middle and you can't pick?
You just
grab it.
slower a little bit.
Just
It's
be an
not that
athlete.
hard.
All right.
Also, so I do want to. I didn't get highlights and lowlights for teams. Please send me this stuff. It's fun. But I was here, so I do get to talk about. I think another issue that we had in our first game. So I mentioned last week. Will and Kason both being people who have worked a ton on their throws, right?
Mhm.
And what happens when you work a ton on your throws? You don't work like easy throws, right? You know how to throw a 15-yard backhand, right?
Yes.
You work on deep shots, you work on like skinnies, IOs, tight things. And that means in game, those are the throws that your body is like used to looking for and finding.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the turns that we have were, and I'm not throwing this on you guys. We lost by like 10. We all could have done better. I think we're just issues of like not making like their body not immediately making things easy because that's not been something that they've worked on.
Okay.
I trust them to get that under wraps. Absolutely. I actually still feel really confident about our team.
Yeah, you did say that our team is one that, like, as we grow and get used to each other, that's when we're going to start performing kind of at our best. I'm really excited to see it. I think we went a long way for that. We have cheers, we had shout outs, we like leadership again, Liaz Keegan. Really popping off there. I'm pretty excited. Also, on the note of bad throws that you make it really hard for yourself. Sorry, Liaz, about the 0 rotation 3-foot righty push pass that I threw you that didn't work. Yeah.
No, before we move on, I do have some shout outs. I get the first time in my life I get to give somebody a shout out for subbing off. That's going to sound bad given that I just came at Will. We went into Universe against Black.
Oh, yeah, it took forever.
You're working it down the field, super patient, super slow. And Will decided, like, I'm not feeling like I can sprint 100%. This is when we tell people to sub off. So he subs off. Ephraim comes on, our new guy. What a new guy this is. Has never played Frisbee before, has just all the juice in the world. I see him just come sprinting out like a demon from.
Oh, yeah. No, I've never seen anyone so excited to get on the field.
Speed creates a ton of chaos. I think 3 throws later, somebody hits him right in front of the end zone, and he hits Emmy to score and win the game.
Another new person.
It was
Fantastic.
It was so great. It was such an incredible way to end that game. Shout
Yeah.
out everybody who was involved.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And the shout out list from Red for Ephraim is insane, but proportional to how impressed we were
yeah.
and how much enthusiasm he brought.
And the last thing that I have here, we're going to talk more about us. We have this stuff. We know it. I something that disappointed me when I was writing power rankings is that I don't really get to talk about myself. So I'm going to take this moment to talk about you, because I get to do that. I didn't realize it until I was watching footage. So you came on the third girl in our three lady rotation in our game against Black. So we were a little ways into the game at this point. I think we were down 6 when you came off or came on, and we were tied when you went back off the field. There was not like an individual mind-blowing, like you had a couple of great deep shots from somebody who was amazing. Um, but just that sort of consistent, like you came on, you don't make mistakes, you don't give up easy stuff, and next thing you know, we went on a 6 point run. Huge to have.
Oh, well, cool. Thank you. I have been struggling with consistency, so I appreciate that. If you're done with your shout outs, I do have a couple of my
Finally.
own. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Kason did go to the end zone a few times and roof people at
Oh yeah.
pivotal moments.
Just big man everybody.
Yeah, it was so incredible to watch. That's exactly what we wanted to see, and I like to see his movement. Sometimes we need somebody cutting under, but sometimes we need somebody roofing people
Oh,
in the
you
end
gotta
zone
go to the
and
end
get
zone.
us hype. And boy, did you get us hype. Also, big again, shout out to Emmy and Ephraim. Like you guys did, I think like 2 or 3 newbie points, and one that was just like it didn't work, but it was incredibly athletic and like you put in maximum effort, and it was so fun to cheer for you. Also, thank you, Par, for helping carry Liaz off the field when he got eaten by the wall. And Liaz, there was just so many moments where you had like small shifts in your position on defense that took away like a third or a half of the field. That was big for us. Thank you so much for that. Oh, and Logan. I don't know if we won that second game because Logan showed up, but I do know that we lost a game Logan wasn't at, and we won a game that Logan was at. So that feels
And the numbers.
kind of related. And then the last one I have is that I received a complaint last week about not talking enough about ZJ. So ZJ's on our team. I'm going to talk about ZJ. ZJ, I don't really have any highlights or lowlights to say for you because there weren't any real big lowlights, and you're just always incredible on the field. You had a couple solid hucks, you had really good resets, you were always available. Your movement in that universe point when Will subbed off was really unique and interesting for your gameplay because you took like 1 or 2 hard steps and made like 10 feet of space, and then you were just really patient and stood still. And that, as a person who mostly plays defense, is freaking impossible to guard. And so watching you just bust that out, and instead of like using your top speed and like being a cutter, you were in that handle space, you were taking 2 or 3 hard steps, you were making a big window, and then you were patient and out of the way until it was time for another burst, and it was really unpredictable. That was incredible. All right, now that we've talked about Red for, the majority of our
If
time,
you want us to talk about your team as much as we talk about ours, send me stuff.
please send us stuff. Send stuff to your captains, pester them. That's how we get the information. So we do have our last ranked team.
Yeah, so blue, I don't think blue is that bad. I think that we have generally done a pretty good job balancing teams.
Mhm.
I think they over 2 games were -8. They're gonna be okay. Against who did they play? Pull that back up.
Yeah, green and yellow.
Okay, yeah, so 2 really good teams. I think blue is going to be okay. The reason that I have blue as low as they are outside of just results, is that I did not see their game changers kind of taking over.
Okay.
So like I want to talk about Justin here in particular.
Okay.
Justin is incredibly fast. We talked about how fast he was. We talked about how
Mhm.
much experience he had playing at this sort of like slightly below club level.
Mhm.
We can just call it league level, I guess. But
League level.
I'm roping mediocre colleges in here.
Mhm.
I think that Justin could do a huge amount more. And I just didn't see it. I know he has it in him. The one thing I actually specifically want to call him out for, there was a catch that he didn't get because of a, I think, really blatant, dangerous play that I saw in his face consider, look up, and then just not call it. He told me afterwards that he didn't want to call that in league. Call that. I mean, one, call dangerous plays in league because otherwise people will make dangerous plays in league. But two, I think that like that mentality of like, whatever, maybe he's played at a high enough level that is what he feels here. But I do think that's going to hurt him.
That's fair. Now, USAU did update their dangerous play rules, so like go brush up on those. But yeah, call what you need to call. You can always retract.
Yeah. But yeah, like just I don't know the other like big names when I look through here, right? Like Blanche Summers is their captains. Jaden, Jason. Really great players. And I think they have the potential to do more. And maybe they just I don't know didn't or weren't feeling it, or maybe it was just the matchups were harder.
Yeah, I mean, so we have a couple of things here. One, I think that Jason was doing a phenomenal job of being a good teammate and a good captain. He was
Yeah.
really encouraging.
Yeah.
He was really encouraging to his new people.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to stop there to talk about that. We gave Jason a hard time in the ratings last week, and I think it just in person a couple of times. Everything I've heard, Jason has been unbelievably encouraging. So shout out character development.
Yeah, time for a haircut, character development. Let's go. Yeah, and shout out Blue Team's new player, Eric. You were doing
Really,
really great. Yeah.
really
I'm
good.
really excited to see what you bring. I heard that you've like played twice. Incredible.
Yeah.
And then we also do have a couple other shout outs for this team. Riley specifically said that Junior's no look assist with the eye patch deserves a shout out for being quite literally a no look.
It was ridiculous. Like he played so well in the eye patch. I don't think he had any misses that I can attribute to that. He had one D that like I don't think he knew the disc was in the air and he would have with the eye patch, but it was on Big Jeff and he was getting riffed there anyways. And then he had just like a throw. He was I don't know what he was looking at, but I don't think he can play in the eye patch. It was a throw to nobody. Um,
Okay. And yeah, when we were talking about this, you did say that when Junior misses, he misses pretty big, and he might be leading the league in face palms.
just like you know the like you throw your hands up and you're like, how did I just do like it's just like the junior classic at this point. Really good player, but he is very visibly aware when he makes a mistake. I'll tell you what.
You know what? At least he has awareness. Some of us don't. And then on the flip side of that, we did see some really consistent play from Addison.
Yeah, Addison was really impressive.
Always in the right spaces. She got that deep D on, oh man, what a sprint she had to do for that one. It was on the break side too, I think. So she just kind of cleared that space and got it up. And then who else do we have? No, I think it was just we wanted to talk more about Addison being in incredible position. And I asked you about this because I told you that like last summer league, one of the hardest people to defend was Addison. What's her sports context?
Oh, I have no idea. Addison, what? I don't know what sport you came from. Let us know.
Yeah, we would love to know. It's incredible.
It's like soccer. I assume it's going to be soccer, but
Okay, I would love if it like, bumped up higher on my list than hockey at this point. All right. And then another really big shout out, not to specific team members, though I will say on blue, we had Brittany subbing, and dang, Britt's handle movement was just notable. It helped the team a lot. It was consistent. It really opened up the field that there was break side movement, and I don't know. It's just something we haven't seen from Britt as primarily a cutter. So great work there, Britt. And then shout out Kay and Britt for being floaters and subbing for us. You really keep the games going. Really appreciate that. Do we have other shout outs?
Yeah, just shouting out. We have a decent amount of new people or like quasi new people in this league. People who yeah just have maybe been to like one league or just some pickups. Yeah, so yeah, Ephraim, Emmy has been in a league and some pickups, but like she's still close to new. Yeah, Eric over on blue. Yeah, Ed there. Let me just keep going through. I don't know if you're. Oh yeah, our other Kelly. You got to
Other
match up.
Kelly,
You got
yeah.
the Kelly matchup.
Yeah, we got Sarah on Sarah and Kelly on Kelly.
I'm sure that there are people that I'm missing here, but a decent amount of new people from this league. So appreciate y'all joining. Shout out them.
Yeah, welcome aboard, guys. We hope you love it as much as we do. And then another reminder here, we'll move in. Last week, staying a little bit later to keep the score for the games was fine. William made a form for people to stay. I don't care if you fill it out, just somebody stay. It's nice to have people cheer for your games, and it's even nicer if you don't have to keep your own score.
Yeah.
Do we have any other reminders?
Yeah. So, in kind of your realm, we have a women's hat tournament coming up.
Why is that in my realm? Yeah, okay. So in my realm, we do have Saturday Night Fever. It is the second ever that we've had. So we've had more than one, which is pretty great. And it is on February 21st, which is a Saturday, 6 to 9:30. So kind of in that sweet spot. Please invite your friends from out of town. It's indoors, which is great. Yeah, women's hat tournament, February 21st.
Yeah. I think that's all we've got.
All right.
Like I said a couple of times, send us highlights, send us lowlights, give us stuff to talk about, and let's have some fun.